Hello. So I bought a bus. I'm just getting right into it. I am so stinking pumped. I just bought last week, I don't even know what day that was, Thursday. I bought a shuttle bus that I am going to convert, and I am going to be living in it full time, and I am so stinking excited about it. And so in this video, I want to talk a little bit about my bus and like what I paid and like things like that. And then I want to talk about why I bought a bus, like the whole story, I guess, about why I bought a bus, like why I want to live, van life, bus life, but whatever. So basically, the first time I remember hearing about van life was a couple of years ago. I did study abroad to Costa Rica, and there was a girl from that group who I followed on Instagram, and I remember seeing her post that her and her boyfriend, then boyfriend, now husband, had just bought a school bus, and it was like a full-size school bus, and she said, "We bought a schoolie, we're gonna convert it and live in it," and I was like, what? What do you mean you're gonna live in a school bus? I had never heard of it before, and aside from thinking she was crazy, I don't know really what I thought. I think that I briefly just Googled like schoolie conversion or something like that just to be sure that that's a thing that people were doing. And so I think I literally just Googled enough to know that it was a thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, these people are crazy. But I wasn't like watching YouTube videos. I didn't research it. I literally just Googled to know that people did live in school buses, and I just thought she was crazy. And then last summer 2019, I watched a van life video. I had no idea who the first account was that I watched. I don't know how I got on that. I don't remember if it was just like in my YouTube recommendations. Like, I genuinely have no idea how I started watching it. But I think it was a time I was like getting off of social media for a little bit. Like, I deleted Instagram off my phone, and I was just trying to like be more productive in general. And then, of course, instead of being more productive, I started just watching YouTube all the time. I think that was like the time period that it happened. And like I said, I don't remember what the first video was or like who it was, like what channel or whatever. But I was just fascinated by these people who lived in their vehicles, whether it was a bus or a van or whatever. And I was like, what in the world? And so I just started watching more and more, and I just found it fascinating. And I found these people who were like driving, across country, like people do, and even down to like Mexico and Central America. And I was like, what in the world? Like, that is so cool. I love to travel. And so I started thinking about it. Wow. I guess kind of into that, I started thinking about doing it for myself. I was like, wow, that is so cool. It's like, that'd be really cool to do one day, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't like concrete plans because my bank account ain't set up that way. And I knew that I was gonna have to save a lot of money up front. And I was watching a lot of those videos where people post about like, how much does a month of van life cost, or how much is how much was the conversion, all those things. But anyways, I was watching all those kind of videos about like, how much does the conversion cost, like how much people spent on their conversion, or how much like does a month of van life cost, like gas, repairs, like all that good stuff, and food, like what they were doing. And so I knew that it was going to be something for the future for sure, because I didn't have the money to just go and buy a bus. And then basically I just kept watching van life videos. Like, I haven't stopped since I found it. It's not the only thing I watch on YouTube, but I just became obsessed, and I have a few favorite accounts, and I can put them down below if anybody's interested who doesn't know about van life or whatever. I don't know why you'd be watching this if you don't know about van life, but anyways, I'm just so stoked. I just love the idea of the freedom that it gives you. I've been saying for a long time, I live in Louisville, Kentucky currently. I like it here. I'm not from here. I'm from a small town in Kentucky. I like it here, but I wouldn't say that I love it. I wouldn't say that I want to be here forever and like put my roots here. I just don't know. Like I want to travel. Like I want to see other places. I don't know where I want to live permanently, if anywhere. I just don't know. And it scares me to think about constantly signing leases for apartments or buying a house. Like that's such a huge commitment. And so I just love the idea of van life, that your home is with you all the time, and if you want to move, you can move. You know, you just take your home with you, and I think that's so cool. It's just, oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm so happy that I found out about it, and I wish that I had found out about it sooner so I could already be on the road. But I'm stoked. What to say now? Oh, kind of like how I found the bus and everything. Well, I basically just put off the idea of van life because I was like, this is going to cost a lot of money. And I was watching people who had buses or vans or whatever. And obviously there's a big range, just like life in general. You know, like some people convert their minivans or their SUVs that they already have. There are some people who just live in their cars. Like I've seen people who live in like Honda Accords or whatever, Honda Civics. And they choose to do so, not necessarily that they're like homeless and had to, but people who choose to live in their like actual cars, not SUVs. Some people who live in SUVs or minivans, and then you have people who live in the really fancy $60,000 Mercedes Sprinter, whatever. And so obviously there's a huge range, you know, kind of both ends of the spectrum, and a lot of people in the middle. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do the Mercedes. And I mean, it doesn't really interest me, but that's basically like buying a house once you buy the vehicle and you convert it and whatever. So that's, it's a lot of money. Kudos to the people who can do that. But that is absolutely not in my budget right now. And I am #budget life. So, I basically just put off the idea of van life and thinking, well, it's just gonna have to be in the future. Wasn't like truly planning for it. But I don't know, it was just like a couple of weeks ago, literally this recently, and I was thinking about it, and kind of like the last few months I've been just in this weird, I don't know if you call it like a transition, but I teach part-time at a university, and I already talked to my boss recently, and she said that she doesn't have anything for me to teach in the fall, and so like my job there is done for now at least. She said she would let me know if there's something in the spring, but basically in the fall I won't be back, which is so sad. It was part-time, but that's my favorite job. I absolutely love it. And I was looking at full-time jobs at universities, and I actually recently have gotten a couple of rejections, but I applied probably 40 or 50 places, and aside from that I haven't heard anything. And just with everything going on with coronavirus, a lot of places have stopped hiring altogether. So I've just kind of been in this weird place of like not knowing what I'm going to do or where I'm going to be. And then I was offered a full-time position at a nonprofit, which I was already working at. I was teaching a computer class, and now I'm going to be, I already am, the program services manager. And it is like an in-person job, generally speaking, but right now I am working from home because of everything going on. We can't be at work, and I don't know, so it's just like this weird period in my life, just kind of like feeling like I'm in limbo almost. So I was just kind of thinking about it, and I was like, well, my lease here is ending at the end of July, and I really like where I'm at, but I don't want to continue to pay these people's mortgages. And I kind of did the math, not even recently, it was a while back, of all the rent that I've paid since I started renting an apartment, and it's like close to, or maybe even a little over, $30,000. So my average rent basically that I've paid throughout the last, I don't know, 6 years or whatever it is, I have no idea, is about $500 a month. So like I've paid $400 with everything included. I've paid $400 plus utilities, whatever. I even paid as high as like $560, I think, at one point when I was living in a campus affiliated. And right now I currently pay $500 plus all of the utilities. And so I was like, I'm tired. And that's my share, of course. I've never like lived alone and like had a whole apartment or house or anything. I share this with one other person. But I was just tired, you know, I'm just tired of it. $30,000 is a lot of money. Like, that's a brand new vehicle. That's a really nice down payment on a home, at least where I am. That's a nice down payment on a home. And I'm just tired of paying somebody else's mortgage and like, I'm not having anything to show for it. You know, I appreciate having a roof over my head, but it sucks putting all this money in. And especially for me, it is a pretty big part of my income. I mean, it's less than like the recommended 30% or whatever, but I don't have like this high salary of not making like $8,000 a month where it's like, oh, $500, like no big deal. It's like pocket change. It is like a lot of money. And I basically was just thinking, okay, it's now or never for me. So essentially, I don't even know, a week or two ago or a couple weeks ago, I was just like, I have to do this because I feel like if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. I don't want to sign another lease for a year, and then that would just be really difficult for me, again, because I don't make tons of money, so it would be really hard to be paying rent and at the same time trying to save for van life. So I was thinking like, oh, I'm just going to start saving for it, whatever, and then I was like, no, that's way too hard. So I was just looking around, and I was looking at Craigslist, looking just kind of all over, tons of different websites. I even looked at car auctions, and just by chance, I found my bus on Craigslist. And like I said, I live in Louisville, and my bus was in Lexington. He had it listed for $3,500, and then when I got there, he said he would take $2,900 for it, and so I paid $2,900. It's a 2003 Ford E450 7.3 power stroke, whatever, diesel shuttle bus. I am so excited. It has 208,000 miles on it. So, I mean, that would be high if it were a regular car, but it is diesel. So diesels usually go for a lot longer. Y'all, I don't even know. I'm just so stinking excited. I feel like this is a long video, basically just me saying, I found van life, I became obsessed with it, and then I just realized that for me personally, it's now or never. I just want to try it. Like, I feel like I owe that to myself. I'm like always really a careful person. I don't like take risks or whatever. And so I am taking a risk now, and I'm excited. And it's not like I'm pouring, you know, $20,000 into this vehicle, which is like almost what I make in a year. So it's a risk, but it's not something that's too risky. You know, like if I do this for a year and I hate it, or if I do this for a year and I find a job that I love in a city that I love where I want to rent an apartment, then I can do that. You know, I'm not pouring, like I said, the $60,000 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter vans that cost $60,000 plus another $20,000 for the conversion or whatever. I'm not doing that. And so this is a lot less risky than like that kind of investment. But I'm so excited. I know I just keep saying that over and over, but my motto for this year, for 2020, was, well, it is, be afraid and do it anyways. And I think that that's just really important. For me, I like to be in my comfort zone. I mean, we all do. That's why it's called the comfort zone. You know, we like to be in that. It's comfortable, but it's really important to get out of your comfort zone and do things that challenge you and do things that maybe are risky. And so that's what I've been telling myself recently, is be afraid and do it anyways. And I am afraid. I'm afraid of like that transition from a house to van life. I'm afraid of, you know, I don't know, not being able to find a place to park, or maybe like what it's going to cost in gas, or if there's like a really expensive repair. But I'm doing it anyways because I think that it's going to be worth it. And even if I just hate it, which I don't anticipate hating it, I think I'm going to really enjoy it. But even if I did hate it, it's worth it to myself to find out. It's worth it to find out for myself whether or not I like it and this is something I want to do. So anyways, I'm going to be making videos. I'm still going to, well, I mean, I have like 3 videos on my channel. I'm still going to make like regular videos. Like I still want to talk about money, budgets, life, whatever. And I'm going to make videos in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. So if you see that, yeah, I speak Spanish and I'm learning Portuguese and like challenging myself to make videos. So I'm going to make all the regular videos that I would want to make either way. But I'm also going to make van conversion or bus conversion videos as well. But I don't want my channel to just be like bus life, van life, whatever. So I'm gonna be doing a variety of things. But so anyways, if you got through that whole video, congrats. I know it's kind of lengthy, but I appreciate you being here. Subscribe if you want to see more van, bus, whatever videos, and also just regular daily life. But I can't wait. Bye, y'all.